Hey guys, and welcome to Bear Archery's Hunting 101 podcast, as always, presented by our good friends over at ScentLock. I am excited because this week I've got Donnie Howell from Redy Nutrients, and we talk all about just creating a healthier lifestyle, which in turn will make us better hunters and keep us on the mountain and in the woods longer in our life. I met a really good friend named Harv Ebers, who is well into his 80s, and Harv still gets to bow hunt, and he largely equates that to resistance training, which he still does every single day. Guys, this is not an episode about running marathons and getting as jacked as you can. This is not encouraging you to become the next Instagram fit hunter. This is just encouraging you to live a healthier lifestyle and how to do so, how to just get out and move, going on walks and doing things with your kids and doing a little bit of resistance training just to ensure that you can hunt for the rest of your life. Guys, it's a good episode. Donnie shares lots of tips. I share my story on when I decided that I would never let my physical abilities stop me from killing an animal again. Donnie shares his transformation and when that switch clicked in his head. Guys, it's a good episode. I would highly encourage you to stay tuned in. And if you're not into fitness, if you're not into that type of thing, I promise you this episode is not going to deter you. But my hopes is that would encourage you just to live a bit of a healthier lifestyle. Thanks for listening. And guys, I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.
Welcome to Bear Archery's Hunting 101 podcast, where hunters new and old come to learn and find inspiration from stories of hunts gone by. Everyone is welcome to enjoy the outdoor way of life, and there is no better time to start than right now. So let's head into the great outdoors with your host, Dylan Ray.
I'm very picky about the nonprofits that I will support. I look into them a lot. I don't just jump in and support anybody that says we're a nonprofit. I met a friend of mine. His name is Jim Mesh, and he runs a memorial fund, a scholarship in his brother's name, the John V. Mesh Memorial Scholarship. And what they do, they have a passion for getting kids involved in outdoors. So they host these events around the country to get kids introduced to hunting, but also to raise money for their scholarship fund, which is the John V. Mesh Scholarship. And what that is that's a scholarship that if any student is going into a field of conservation study, they can apply for this scholarship. And it's a substantial scholarship. That's another thing. If they say we're a nonprofit and we do all this and then they give, $1,000 scholarship, then you're like, well, where does the rest of the money go? But they give a very substantial scholarship to a student every year looking to go into a conservation field of study. So guys, maybe you are a student and you're studying some field of conservation. I would encourage you to apply for the John V. Mesh Memorial Scholarship. But also, I would encourage you, everybody, to support this nonprofit scholarship fund, whether it's through a one-time donation, a monthly donation, or attending one of their events, or buying one of the things they have on auction at these events. Support a company that's supporting our rights as hunters by furthering our conservation efforts by supporting students who are going into a conservation field of study. Guys, go check out the John V. Mesh Memorial Scholarship at johnvmesh.org. So, Donnie, I haven't shared kind of my testimony in a while. My testimony, if you will. But here's what happened to me. I was a high school athlete and, stayed physically fit my whole life, ran cross country, track, played basketball, played sports my whole life growing up. Yeah. And as a young married guy, I got married young in college. So I got, there's that freshman 15, they say. I got like the freshman 40 in college, Yeah, sure. But also there's something that happens when you get married and you've got this gal cooking for you. Well, for me, I got married so young that those stacked up. So, I got the freshman 40 immediately followed by the young married, just getting fat and happy. Well, then, fast forward a few years and we were about to have our second child and I was about to go on this hunt. And I was going with the guys from SNS Archery there in Idaho. And I was just talking to them leading up to the hunt and well, are you physically active? And it never dawned on me really, I'm like, yeah, dude. Yeah. I've played sports my whole life. I'm a fit guy, I'll be fine. And he said, well, how much have you been working out? How much you've been working running? How much you been? I'm like, none, but like, dude, I'm in shape, it's whatever, and,
Sure.
and, I remember like finally looking at myself being like, hold on, I weigh 220 pounds. Like I graduated high school 170 soaking wet. Like what happened?
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I'm not in as good a shape as I thought I was. And so I just started hitting the gym like crazy for the 2 months leading up to that hunt. And I lost 20 or so pounds, maybe even 30 at that point. I don't remember when I went on the hunt how much I had lost, but enough to be proud of. And so we go on the hunt, and I still get my tail kicked. Like it was still just horrible. And of course, you take a Midwestern boy. I live at 900 foot of elevation, and we're getting out of the truck at 6. And so it was just like
I just
got my butt. Yeah, I got my butt kicked, man. And so it was one of those deals where leaving to come home, it was like, okay, well, we're never going back to that again. Like we're never getting back to that point again. And on that hunt, and I'm not saying, well, I am saying my physical abilities hindered me from killing a bear. We put like a 1.5 mile stock on this bear, and we get within a couple hundred yards, and I take a shot and I miss. Well, I miss because I'm laying on the ground. I lay prone and get on my bag, and I miss because I'm sitting there trying to shoot this bear.
Heart rate's 160.
Oh my gosh. And for the next year, I took a picture from like a helipad where you could see the whole area where this played out. And for the next year, that was the wallpaper on my phone. And every time I saw that picture, I decided I will never let my physical abilities hinder me from being successful in the woods again. Now, don't get me wrong. My dad's one of the greatest hunters I know. And he doesn't work out. I mean, he's 60 plus years old. Sure. I shouldn't say he doesn't. He hikes. He doesn't lift weights. He doesn't. But I grew up in southern Arkansas, dude, with fat old men at deer camp. Like, sure. I know that you don't have
flannel
to
shirt
be,
Levi's.
10% body fat to kill deer. I know that. But does it hurt? That's the question.
Yeah.
It can't hurt to get to your stand less out of breath. It can't hurt to get to your stand less sweaty and less just. Dude, I remember used to walk to my stand, early season, you're drenched in sweat and you're like, oh, that sucked. I only walked 500 yards, but that sucked.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
absolutely.
I'm like, sure, you can still get to your stand and kill deer. I'm not saying you have to be like some crazy in shape guy to kill deer in the Midwest or in the South. I know that.
But it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. It's never going to hurt you. And, I remember like having to call buddies to get a deer in the back of my truck. Like I remember having to call buddies to help me drag out a deer. And that's where that switch changes. It's like, okay, well, if I've been working out, I can probably deadlift this deer in the back of my truck. If I've been working out, I can probably pull this 300 yards to get to the road. And that's where things start to change. And, I went hunting with a guy. I took him hunting for the first time. His name's Joey Zapmare. He's a national champion strongman. Very well, very well successed in his world of powerlifting and strongman. And I remember thinking like, oh, we got to go get this deer out. And Joey didn't need help grabbing that deer. Yeah, he literally threw it over his shoulder, which I'm not saying I'll probably ever get to that point, but he threw it over his shoulder and walked out with this 200-pound plus buck that he just shot. And I'm like, that must be nice. Like that can't hurt. And so I just made a decision in my life that, and guys, like if you know me, homeboy likes to eat some cookies. Like I'm not saying I eat as strict as I've ever been and I work out 7 times a week, but I do things to stay physically fit to better my chances in the woods. That's what I do. But I also, I'm just a huge believer, and me and Donnie were just talking about this. I'm a huge believer in just quality of life. Like I'm a huge believer in, I want to be able to play sports with my kids. I want to jump on the trampoline with my kids without dying. I want to be able to go on a walk with my kids while they ride their bikes. And I want to be able to just live a long and happy life. And, I met this
Dylan,
guy.
don't you think real quick, Dylan, like hunting is a part of our life, right?
100%.
But that's a portion, that's a season of our life, right? The rest of your life, if you're healthier, don't you think you have a better life?
100%.
If you're physically fit, you can interact with your family and the people you love and your kids and your friends. You interact so much differently that you train for that portion of your life. And that is incredibly important for you and I and for all these people out here.
Absolutely.
But the benefit that it rolls over into the rest of your life, it's unbelievable how that will benefit you. Just being a little bit more physically fit.
And guys, like, I'm not saying you have to start running a marathon a day and lifting weights every day of your life.
Trust me, I don't.
But there are some general things that you can do to stay healthier, which will make your hunting more enjoyable. It'll make your life just easier and better. I mean, Donnie, we used to be the kind of people, and I can say this because she'll never listen to the podcast, but my wife has lost 60 plus pounds as well. And we used to be the kind of people where our date night was, let's go get ice cream and shove our face full of cookies. And we're so full, we can't even function anymore. And baby, that was fun. Well, we just went on a date night and we said, hey, let's find somewhere to go hiking. Like, let's find something to do together. Yeah. And it's just crazy how much better life is like that.
The relationship is better too, don't you think? I think across the time, your relationship with her is better because you're doing things together that are benefiting both of you.
Oh, yes.
And
absolutely.
Look who that's helping. That's helping your kids. It's helping your parents. It's helping your friends. Like there's a certain portion of being healthy that's a little selfish, but that selfish gives way to you being able to be a better person for everybody around you. You can never be your best self. You can never deliver your best product to the world if you're miserable and not in a reasonable, fit world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, and my my mentor in traditional archery, the guy that got me started shooting a recurve, his name's Harv Ebers. He's an absolute legend. I mean, he was one of the founding members of Pope and Young, was inducted into the Archery Hall of Fame, hunted with Fred Bear. I mean, just a fantastic guy. And the first time I ever met him, Harv's got to be, I mean, he's over 80. I would guess 82, 83. And the first time I ever met him, I said, well, man, do you get to hunt anymore? Like, do you still get to hunt? And he's like, shot a doe last night. Like, what do you mean do I still get to hunt? And I was like, with your bow? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I remember asking him one time, I said, Harv, what do you equate, like, your ability to still hunt well into your 80s? What do you equate that to? And he looked around his basement and there was free weights laying everywhere. And he said, I'm 80 years old and I still every single day resistance train.
Without a doubt.
Am I powerlifting? No. Am I bench pressing 225? No. But I still do things so I can continue to hunt. And that's when that was part of my driving force behind, like, I need to do this so that I can keep hunting well into my 80s.
No, I agree 100%. Like you, I have a similar story. I was 40, I'm an old man at this point. I mean, I'm 56 years old. I'm still in reasonable shape, but at 47, I had an epiphany. It was like, I woke up one morning, looked in the mirror, and I was not happy with what I saw. Like you, I was always an athlete. I was always reasonably fit. Something happened. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew I had to change.
Right.
And that kind of gave me my life back in a lot of ways, if that makes sense. Like being able to get out and do things I want, when I want to do it, how I want to do it on my terms, it changed my life.
Yeah. And it will. Like, that's what and again, like, I'm not trying to, I don't want to push like some, get jacked program.
No, that's not it. No, it's about moving your body, lifting some weights now and again, and being cognizant of what your real goals are and always working towards those goals.
Yeah. Like, there's some things that I do specifically for knee health. Like, just when I get on the mountain, I know my knees aren't going to hurt. I know my knees aren't going to crumble. I know my knees aren't going to give out. There's some specific things I do for shoulders just to keep my shoulders fluid. And that's largely because of my dad. I said my dad still hunts and he's one of the best hunters I know, but my dad would absolutely love to be hunting with a recurve right now if his shoulders weren't bum. If his shoulders weren't bad, he would love to be hunting with a recurve, but he can't. So he's got to back his compound way down so he can be able to still even hunt with his compound. And, my dad was a very successful wrestler. And that's what, he'll say that's why I'm not saying if you're a wrestler to stop, but, getting his shoulders cranked on his whole life in wrestling, he just can't do it anymore. And, so there's things I do to keep my shoulders fluid and keep my shoulders strong just so I can continue to draw a bow back. I'm not a preacher of now. If you know me at all, I don't want you to say, dude, you're so contradictory, because I do. I've got several friends in the powerlifting and strongman world. So I do go on the heavier side of things. And I get that. So I don't want you to think I'm contradicting myself there. But what I am saying is that for the general guy who just wants to hunt, I'm not promoting some powerlifting program or some get jacked program. I'm telling you to get out and just get active. Throw some boots on with a heavy pack and go walk. Like, do some shoulder stuff, do some knee stuff, do some flexibility stuff, some hip stuff. I remember,
Dylan, I like to call those things. I like to call those functional fitness.
Yes, absolutely.
Do the kind of movements that will benefit you in every aspect of your life. Do they play into hunting? Absolutely. But do the kind of things that will benefit every part of your life. Putting a pack on and going for a walk, one of the best things you can do. It's unbelievable. Yep. The other thing it does is you realize after you lose 40 pounds, holy crap, I was carrying a pack around all the time.
Exactly. I remember one time when I had hit that 50-pound mark, I was going out with my dad in southern Arkansas. We were going to put corn out, and I threw a 50-pound bag of corn over my shoulder, and I thought, holy crap, this used to be attached to my body.
Yeah, like that's unbelievable to have that realization.
Oh my gosh, it's like no wonder my knees don't hurt as much anymore.
Right?
No wonder I feel 5 years younger. No wonder I can, play with my kids more. This used to be strapped to my body at 50 pounds,
and it doesn't go away.
And so I know my answer, but I want to know yours. For somebody listening, the whole point of this podcast is to teach and inspire. So for somebody listening and they say, yeah, man, I do need to start getting control of some things. I want to be able to hunt for a long time. I want to be healthier on the mountain. I want to be healthier in the woods. I want to just live a healthier, happier lifestyle. What are some things that you personally would start implementing?
I kind of break my lifestyle into three aspects of my life. I break it into the way I eat, the way I train, and my mental health. Meaning how tough am I mentally, spiritually, that emotional health. The biggest thing people could do is learn to control your food. And look, you need to know I'm a cheesecake guy and I don't have a piece of cheesecake. I eat cheesecake. Okay.
The whole cake.
But I know I'm going to be in the gym tomorrow. So I'm not worried about it. But I live in what's called the 80-20 rule, Dylan. 80% of the time, I'm pretty diligent about what I eat. 20% of the time, I don't worry about it because that keeps my mental health good. I'm never thinking, oh, I can't have that. I'm only thinking, I'm going to have that, but I'm only going to have this much. That helps. The other thing is do some resistance training. Lift some damn weight. It sounds crazy. You're not doing it to get jacked. Your body is meant to move. It is meant to move around. And if you put it, we live in a society where we sit, right? We sit all day. We sit at a computer. We sit at our phone. We sit in our car. We sit. We're not as active as we used to be. I mean, I grew up on a farm. I was active all the time. I didn't have to worry about anything. I was always going. As you get a little older, you get in a career, that changes. The best thing you can do, and it's not a crazy program. Like you said, I'm not asking people, or I never tell people, you want to get jacked. I just tell them you want to be functionally fit. You want to make sure if you try to engage your muscles, they work. The happier and healthier you are in that regard, the better off you're going to be. But I definitely tie those things around, your physicality, how you eat, and then you tie it into how does that make you feel? Because I tell everybody, losing weight is never a goal. It's a byproduct of the real win, which happens between your ears.
Yeah. What I tell everybody, and like him, love him, or hate him, I consider him a friend, so I'm going to say I like him. But John Dudley, he put out that program, I don't know how many years ago, but just a push-pull, squat, hinge, core type workout. And what John means by that is like, I'm not going in to train muscle groups, and I don't have a back day, and I don't have a chest day, and I'm not doing all of these things, but I go in with movements in mind. So I want to work on pushing heavy weight. Whether that be bench press, because you are technically pushing weight away from you.
That's right.
But I want to practice movements, because
when you were in Idaho hunting, you have a 40-pound pack. When you set it on the ground, eventually you have to pick that pack up and put it on your back.
Yep.
So number one place guys that are out of shape hurt themselves is they put a pack down, then they try to lift it back up. And they tweak their back because their muscles not used to bending that way.
Yeah.
They're, moving your body with a sandbag or anything you can do to recreate those environments you're going to operate in. That's just a win.
Yeah, absolutely, man. One of my favorite exercises that I think everybody needs to start doing is just some sort of carry movement. What I mean by that is pick up heavy weight and carry it. Like, I look like an idiot because my gym is at my house. So I look like an idiot sometimes because I'm walking down the road with a barbell on my back. Just walking down the road carrying weights. However, like that's the most functional movement like that I can think of is just carrying something, whether it's on my back or whether it's in a rack position or whether it's, just kettlebells down by my side, whatever, just walk and carry something heavy. But one thing that changed my life was, and I think it was Stan Efferding that kind of started it, but I saw Mark Bell promoting 10-minute walks. Just go out on 10-minute walks. And what I do is 3 times a day. I work from home, which can be super lay on the couch and work on your computer all day long. Sit at your desk all day and send emails and write and do whatever, video editing, whatever you're doing, do it all day long. It can be super hard falling into that just, laziness. And so I force myself 3 times a day to go walk for 10 minutes. That's going to keep me physically active all day. It's going to make my work way more productive. When I get back, like you're like, I can't afford to do that. I don't have enough time in my day to do that. I almost look at it now as I don't have time to not do that, because it's going to make, when I get back to the office, when I get back to my desk, it's going to make that time so much more productive because my blood is pumping and I'm moving. I've got blood in my brain now, and I'm not droggy and tired. I've got up and I've got moving around. So I lift weights every morning for about an hour, and I practice functional fitness, where I push weights, pull weights, do some squat exercises, some hinge exercises, just to practice everyday movements.
Right.
I lift every morning, and then 3 10-minute walks a day, and that has changed my life immensely.
It kind of goes back to what I was saying before about like the losing weight game. Everybody thinks that's the goal. That's really not the win. You just hit the nail on the head. How do you feel going back to work? How much more productive are you at work? How much more engaged are you while you're doing your work? That little bit of movement, that oxygen to your brain, releasing a little bit of hormones, you get your dopamine and your serotonin working. There's magic that happens in that. Your body will come along. If you want to change your body, that'll happen. But what happens in your mind and how you function between your ears, it's radical. And if you think that doesn't relate to being good on the mountain, if you're tired, you just bailed up a hill because you're trying to get in front of this buck, you've got to cut him off. If you get up there and you're in shape and you can get your heart rate back down and your brain works because it's used to all that dopamine and norepinephrine rolling through your brain, you can sit in and settle a shot and do your thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a foreign ingredient to your brain. That's when you get all wound up.
Yeah. And I say it all the time. I say I'm not trying to be the next Cameron Haynes, but I do shoot while I'm lifting. I shoot between reps because that's going to teach my body you're out of breath.
It does.
Calm your
Without
breath,
a doubt.
calm your body, and make a shot.
Yep.
And
focus.
It's life-changing, man.
Yeah, it's you always say you don't want to be the next Cameron Haynes, but you have to respect what Cam can do. You have to respect
100%. 100%.
As a man, seeing what Cam can do, I think it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
We work with a good friend of mine, Johnny Utah out of Iowa.
Yep.
And Johnny's former special forces guy. I respect what he can do because that guy he's physically tough, and he, like you and like he trains for that functional fitness. How can I be strong on the mountain?
Yeah. And that's what, you say physically tough, and all of these things equate to mental toughness as well.
Without a doubt.
I've been with guys on the mountain and I'm like, you can keep going. Your mind is just telling you can't. Like, you're not even tired, dude.
Yeah,
you're not even tired. But your brain is just saying like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And the same is true.
Foreign, Dylan.
100%.
That's foreign to them. It's foreign to feel that way. And if you get accustomed to feeling that way, you know what that feels like. You know what you have left in the tank. Okay, I'm fatigued, but I am not tired. I am far from being done.
Yeah. And that's for me the biggest thing that the physical exercise and pushing yourself a little bit every day will change for you is the mental side of things. And just being able to go, man, I've been pheasant hunting with guys before and they're like, I got to sit down and take a break. I'm like, dude, we're walking in a wheat field in Kansas. You don't have to take a break. But when you average 4,000 steps a day because you sit at your desk all day and you never get up and move, sure. I mean, you're going to feel tired after walking 2 miles.
Without a doubt.
But when you get up and when you just move your body and guys, whatever you enjoy, and I'm not telling you have to find something and just, it sucks. I hate running. I despise, the only time you're going to see me running is if a bear is chasing me. I'm not going to run, but I love riding a bike. Like, that's fun. And it's a way to move my body. It's a way to get out and to just enjoy nature. I mean, I live in Kansas, so I'll just get on my bike and start riding and ride down a dirt road and I'll be seeing deer and pheasants and turkeys and it's just a fun time to ride a bike. It's something I can do with my whole family. It's something I can do with my wife and my kids. And it's something I enjoy. I'm not telling you have to find something and just it just sucks and that's what you have to do.
Dylan, one of the things people need to find is find your thing. That's most important because if you don't find your thing, you won't do it. Exactly. So you've got to find your thing. I love to get on the stair climber. I hate it, but I love how I feel when I get off that thing.
Yeah.
When you smash through, I love to hike with a pack on my back. I live in northern Utah. I had the luxury of being able to hit the mountain and be at, 7,800 feet in a matter of minutes. And I love that. I love the grind of having my pack on and just going,
Yeah.
And then you got to find your thing, whether it's the bike or the treadmill or running outside or on a rower. Find it. Find what that thing is and do that thing.
Yeah, and that's why I'm a big proponent of the whole flexibility in the gym with the push-pull movements.
Huge.
Because when I go in, I'm not following some program that says, all right, I got to do 3 sets of 12 on, dumbbell bench. That I don't want to do that at all, but I have to. So my program says, no, I do movements that I enjoy that are going to help me in the long run. If that given day is a push day, I'm going to pick out 5 or 6 push movements that sound good for that day. And some days it's, man, I don't know why I chose that. That sucked, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And so, it gives me flexibility. I get to do things that I enjoy doing. So, I'm not big on, hey, here's your program. This is what you have to do. Tuesdays are these lifts and this amount of time and this amount of rep ranges. Find something you enjoy and do it.
Dylan, there's two schools of thought on that. And some people initially need that programming.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
They need that defined place and a lot of it's not their fault, but maybe they don't know what to do.
Right.
So then once they learn what to do, they can then they get to take it on themselves and it becomes a thing of its own. But when you get someone who's never picked up a weight, they need discipline. They need the ability to go in, or they need motivation initially, which turns into discipline after they've done it for a while. But some people need a program. Some people do not, and there are, you could advocate for either of those, but it definitely depends on where you're at in that journey. As far as I need help, I get people every day who come to me like, I don't know how to do this. Please show me.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you right now and they want help just to get a hold of their life, how do they get in touch with you?
I would probably email me. That's the easiest. My email is Donnie, DONNIE at LIVEREDY.com, liveredy.com. That's our website. I'm in the supplement business. So
yeah, we'll get there in a minute about supplements.
Yeah,
and stuff,
no worries. But yeah, reach out. I talk with people every day, Dylan. I have people every day reach out and, we talk. That's one of the things I love the most about what I do is I get to interact with people in a very intimate way where they're coming to me. And, sometimes it takes a lot of courage to ask someone for help.
Yeah.
And they reach out and they're like, hey, I don't know what to do. And you just put them on a little path. And I always tell them you can't eat the elephant all at once. We're trying to eat this elephant one bite at a time. And you get them on a path of consistency. And then that consistency and that motivation turns into discipline. And pretty soon you just they're like a child. You raise them and you send them on their way and let them do their thing. And I love
can
that
say
part
this
of
too. If you're already in fitness and you're like, I've got a handle on this, but I need to take it to the next level, Donnie's still your guy. Donnie is an accomplished bodybuilder and weight trainer. And so if you're like, man, I just want to get to the next level, Donnie's still your dude. So reach out.
Thanks, Dylan, I appreciate that.
I did want to say too, though, I agree with you on the whole some people need a program, because when I started, there's no way that I would have, when I was coming in to choose my movements, there's no way I would have pushed myself hard enough.
Without a doubt.
I would have just said, there's a big difference. I would have never chose, all right, let's do 4 sets of 12 pull-ups, because that's going to suck. But now I'm to that point where I can push myself hard enough to make those decisions. So I agree 100%. Whether you are to that place or not, again, all of these things, Donnie can help you figure out. Donnie can help you nail those things down. So reach out. Reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with Donnie. Because I'm also a big proponent of find somebody. Yeah, find somebody who is well accomplished and knows their stuff and get with them. So that's what I do. I've gotten that comment a lot on a lot of different things. People are like, oh, well, if I got to learn how to shoot a recurve from Tom Clum, I'd be good too. And I'm like, go to Tom Clum then. There's nothing stopping you. But
you still have to put in the reps. You still got to put in the work. It doesn't matter who teaches you. The work still has to get done.
Yeah.
The difference
100%.
between being accomplished and not, it's just work.
Yeah.
You've got to do the work. You have to be willing to do that work.
That's the difference is people. I've literally gotten that comment maybe 4 times. If I got to learn how to shoot from Tom, I would be a good shot too. And I'm like, dude, I flew to Denver on my time, my money. I flew to Denver and I spent days learning from Tom. That's what I wanted to invest in. So I'm a big proponent of just go to somebody who's well accomplished and good and start and get the advice from them and dive in. And so,
yeah, I agree 100%.
So you are in the supplement world. Again, general health, what are some supplements that people should start taking to make them better on the mountain?
A lot of that depends on what your goals are. I'll be really honest with you. There's a lot. Here's the world of the internet. Is there so much information on the internet? A good portion of it is bad. I try to glean my information from, just like you just said, from men who know a lot more than me, who are much, much smarter. I listen and interact with PhDs so that I'm getting information that comes from a real world. I'm not just talking bro science, There's 3 really key components to any type of fitness on the mountain. It's your energy, your recovery, and your growth, right? And in that world, if you're struggling with energy, I use a pre-workout. It gets me up and gets me going. I use a recovery product. I think you do as well. Use our branched chain amino and essential amino recovery product. And a creatine product. That's a growth product. Protein and creatine. Those are the prime basis. Now, I'm not here to sell you supplements. You don't have to take a supplement, but they can enhance your performance. They can enhance your recovery, and they can enhance your growth. And all that does for me is speeds up the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have, I have become such a believer in BCAAs and electrolytes. And, it's one of those things where I tell people, I'm like, even if you don't train at all, you should be taking them. You should be drinking them, and getting them, especially if you're on the mountain, because you get on the mountain, you start sweating so much. Yeah. You start sweating so much and putting on all this energy, and your legs are roasted at the end of the day. You need to have those things to help you and and again, listen, some guys are like, oh, dude, it's a supplement. It's not, it doesn't take over for bad diet. It doesn't take over for working out. It doesn't take over for all those things, but it supplements you in doing those things. So it helps you in doing those things. But
you know what? Something, Dylan, that we design our products mountain first. That means we test them on the mountain.
Yeah.
The reason I do that is I know if they work on the mountain that they'll work in the gym. A gym product doesn't necessarily work on the mountain. They're very different, and we design mountain first, gym second. And that's
awesome.
Is because my passion, I love the gym. It is my safe place. It is my place to go let my crazy go. But my joy in life comes from being on the mountain and being outside and doing those things. And so we operate in that mode.
And I tell everybody, and I'll never stop saying this, I train so that I can be a better hunter. Correct. What I mean by that is if it's hunting season, I'm probably not training, probably hunting. I don't miss a hunt because I need to train. It's not like I want to go on the morning hunt tomorrow, but I'd miss the gym if I did. The only reason I was in the gym was to be able to hunt more successfully. So I'm not going to miss hunting to work out. But I was in one time me and Joey were in the gym and he was doing a video and he just said, hey, why do you train? And, being the channel that he is, he's got a lot of power lifters, a lot of strong men on his channel. And so, they're crazy, they're deadlifting 900 and squatting 800. Doing crazy stuff.
Different goals though, right?
Different goals. And I simply said, I train so that I can be more successful while hunting. That's it. Yep. Guys, there's one fabric that if you're not wearing, you absolutely should be. It's a magic fabric. It changes everything about the way you layer, everything about the way you dress, everything about the way you hunt, and that is merino wool. I couldn't even begin to tell you all of the benefits of merino wool, and I'm going to miss some for sure. But guys, whether it's summer or whether it's winter, this is going to keep you cool in the summer. It's moisture wicking. It's going to pull the moisture away from your body, but it's also going to hold your heat in the winter. It is antimicrobial. It doesn't smell. It doesn't hold scent like other fabrics does. So if you're out on a 5-day hunt, you don't have access to a washer, this is not going to hold your scent. It's not going to get stinky and nasty. It's also quick drying. You can hang this up in your tent. You can hang it up on a clothesline. It's going to dry really quick. But the coolest part about merino, in my opinion, is that when it gets wet, it still maintains it still maintains its warmth properties. So if there's a light rain or a snow and this gets wet, it's still going to keep me warm. There's no itch. It's non-allergenic. It's an amazing fabric. Minus 33. I stumbled upon minus 33 by accident. I was on backcountry.com and they were having a blowout sale. I needed some new merino for a hunt that was coming up. And so I dove in, I bought it. And when I got it, it was the softest, best merino I have ever felt in my entire life. I've not worn anything but minus 33 socks for everyday life, whether I'm hunting, hiking, or just, out for the day. I haven't worn anything but minus 33 socks in over a year and a half. Every single day I'm wearing their underwear. Every single time I'm out hunting, whether it's 100 or whether it's 5, I'm wearing some sort of beanie to cover up my chrome dome and to keep that covered up and warm or cool, whether if it's in the summer. But also that UV protectant. I like to wear it in the summer. Guys, minus 33 does merino, in my opinion, better than anybody else does it. Go check out minus 33 for all your merino wool. And if you haven't ever tried merino, guys, you are missing out. It will change the way you layer. It will change the way you hunt. Go check out merino wool and go check out minus 33.
Guys, this has never happened before, so you're gonna have to excuse me. I changed locations and settings because while we were recording, I lost all power at my house, and I told Donnie, I said, well, we'll catch up, whenever the power comes back on. But due to calling some people and figuring out what happened, I don't know how long it'll be till I have power. So I just joined on my phone, and we're going to keep rolling. So moved out to the bow shop area, and we'll do it out here on my phone. So
what a better place to be, right?
Exactly, man. But what I was saying, I tell people I'm kind of an addict to hunting. Like, I'm addicted to hunting. And when you look at it that way, when you're addicted to something, that kind of it makes your decisions for you. It decides what you do and how you do it and when you do it and why you do it. If you're addicted to drugs, it's all about getting that next high. Every decision you make is to get that next high. Well, the same is kind of true with me for hunting. I mean, every decision I make is based off of the next hunt. And, if we're looking at buying a new car, I'm like, well, let's find a car payment to where we can still afford to go on that elk hunt next year, we make decisions to further our hunting. And so the same is true with that. It's when I wake up in the morning, it's not, man, I need to go work out so I can just look like Donnie. It's, man, I need to work out so that I can create more opportunities for myself to hunt. So that's the way I look at it, man, is I live a life that's going to create more opportunities and keep me in the woods longer because I don't want to have to stop hunting when I'm 60. I don't want to have to stop hunting when I'm 70 or even when I'm 80. And there's guys in my life who have proven that if I'll take care of myself, then I can keep hunting well into those ages. And so I want to live a life that'll create that culture for me.
That type of training is goal specific. And when I get clients that come to me and they're like, I want to lose weight, I'm like, okay, stop. That's not a goal. I want to hunt. I want to hang out with my kids more. I want to go on a cruise. I want to fit in that dress. I want to take my shirt off at the beach. Those are goals. Hunting is your goal. And you got to have a goal because that's your end game. That's what keeps you going from motivated to discipline.
Yeah.
To keep doing that on a daily basis. So you got to have a goal. Pick a goal, whatever it is, but find a real tangible goal that's important to you. That's what you should move towards.
Yeah. And it was one of those deals. Like I said, all of these decisions were based off wanting to hunt more. But then when you start, it's like, man, my marriage is better. I don't get sick the way I used to get sick. I don't get sick near as much anymore. I say that while I've got a head cold, but that's what you get when you go to Oklahoma for the weekend. I went down to Oklahoma and threw me all off whack. But, I don't get the same kind of sicknesses I used to get. I don't get out of breath when my kids want to jump on the trampoline. I mean, it just created a better lifestyle for me altogether. And so we're too far now. I mean, I heard a guy once say, I would go back, but that life kind of sucked, Why would I go back to that?
It's hard too, Dylan, because everybody has to get to that point. We all want to bring people along with us on that journey, right? Because you get in there and you see how it changed your life and you want to draw them in. You're like, I want you to experience what I'm experiencing. I know I have that every single day, but you have to let people do that on their own time. You got to a point where you were tired of being sick and tired. I got to a point where I was tired of being sick and tired. And everybody gets to that point a little different reason at a little different time in their life. Some early, some late. The one thing I can tell you, being an older guy, quite a bit older than you, it's never too late to start.
That's right.
It's never too late to make a decision and say, all right, I'm going to take control of my life. I'm tired of my life controlling me. I'm going to take control. And there's some power in that. When you are doing things with intent to accomplish a goal, there's some power that happens in that.
Yeah.
I know for me, it has changed a lot of things in my life.
So what are the biggest tips you would say? Quick, easy things that the listener can take and just start creating that better lifestyle with. Just maybe it's some tips in the gym, maybe it's some diet tips, maybe it's some movement tips, some stretching tips. That's something I hadn't even gotten into yet, but I remember telling one guy, man, I need to start stretching. And the guy said, why?
Huge.
He said, why? And I said,
huge.
And it was a guy that he's all about bodybuilding. And so to him, he was like, why do you want to get into it? And I just said, well, man, I mean, flexibility on the mountain is a big deal. I mean,
it is
literally just getting your leg up a step if it's too high. I mean, that type of flexibility is just a big deal. So what are some tips that you would start implementing for the listener?
I think your average listener, for me, the biggest thing I want to see them do, flexibility is huge, but do anything. Say, okay, I think I can carve out 20 minutes a day to go for a walk. And pick that goal and be consistent with that goal. Because what I've found over years of doing this is once you get in doing those little things, you crave more because you start accomplishing something and you're like, okay, I feel a little better. Then you get to throw in, okay, maybe I'm going to go to the gym a couple days a week and I'm going to try and get a little stronger. And again, we're not talking bodybuilding. We're saying we're going to move our muscles. We're going to stay flexible. I do train to get on stage. I do it a couple times a year, but I stretch a lot. I do because I feel better when I'm loose and fluid and my muscles move right. The worst thing in the world is to be all bound up and not be able to move and function the way you want to function. I hunt with a lot of guys that are reasonably fit, and the way I want to hunt, Dylan, I put a pack on and I disappear into Idaho or Utah or, Colorado mountains for 5 to 15 days at a time. And so at my age, I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to know that I can hike in, hunt for that many days, and get my ass out.
Yeah. Well, and
I
think we all know that guy who, they come over to shoot and they shoot 30 shots or 40 shots and their arms, their shoulders is tired or they're
exhausted.
They're exhausted. And it's just, man, I love shooting my bow. And so if staying flexible and keeping healthy shoulders and doing some movements throughout the week can help me shoot my bow more and longer and more accurately and more successfully, I'm going to stink and do it. No doubt about it.
If I had to pick some areas, I would say work on leg and hip strength. So hinging and hip strength, and leg strength. Your core strength, because that is the one thing we don't utilize is core strength. If you want to be stronger in your back, you get a stronger core. And then work on your shoulder strength. That shoulder strength and mobility is everything to be able to even if you're just climbing up in a tree stand, you got to be able to reach up and pull your body up. And if you can't do that without, it hurting or you're not strong enough or whatever, there's something up there, and it's little things, When it comes to eating, I tell everybody, make one better decision a day. We got about 7 times a day we're going to make a food choice on average. Make one better decision. If the difference is I'm going to have a 4-patty burger from McDonald's or I'm going to have a piece of grilled chicken and eat some vegetables one time a day, just make one better decision. Those things all pile up. I'm a big advocate for Celebrate your little victories. You know, I've heard you celebrating your victories over and over while we've been talking. And I love that. I love that you're like, I couldn't do this, but now this is what I can do. And that's where it becomes an addiction. That's where we get out of motivated and we become disciplined. You know, I love your statement of your why, because that's actually a campaign we're working on right now is what's your why? I want to know from people, why do you do this? Why do you train? Why do you get outside? What's your why? You know, it's important to me. It's a huge thing in my life. I love the psychology of why people do things. And what is your why? I know my why, you know, but I want to hear your why, because believe it or not, that's what motivates me. I don't motivate myself anymore. The people I interact with and see around me, that's what motivates me. And it's just a magical thing that happens, and anybody can do it. Doesn't matter what age. You start small and you grow. Just my 2 cents on it.
My biggest tip would be your local dam. And I say that because that is a question I get a lot of, dude, I live in, Mississippi, and I'm headed out west for the first time. There's no elevation anywhere near me, and I can't climb anywhere. Man, I go to my local dam all the time because I live in Kansas. If you want to go on a hike, all you got's a wheat field.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I go to my local dam all the time. I throw on my boots, I put on a pack, and I just walk. I walk up, I walk down, I side hill it. And you're like, well, it's not very long. Well, I just do it over and over again. Like it doesn't matter. Keep doing it. And, it gets me outside. And I think, we're talking about supplements. Everybody is deficient in vitamin D. Everybody.
Especially this time of year. We're just coming out of the season where it's been cold. In Utah, we had 900 inches at the ski resorts this year.
God.
It's been insane the amount of snow we've had. And I felt it. You know, it's why I supplement with vitamin D, because I literally felt I can't get outside. I can't be myself. First sunny day, all I'm doing is craving to be outside. I want to go outside and be on the mountain, go for a hike, do what I want to do, But I love the dam idea. That's why I get on a stair climber. That climbing up a hill consistently at a static pace with some weight on your body, you want your heart rate to change and improve? That is a sure way to make it happen.
I saw the Mountain Tough guys put out a video not too long ago, and they said it was something about a burnout at the end of their workouts that they do.
Yeah. And
they basically just pick up kettlebells, say they're 2 35-pound kettlebells, and they walk on the treadmill at the highest incline until they physically can't anymore. Yep. And, that's just just little things that we're like, man, I never thought of that. But it's like, dude, you pack on that would be 70 pounds, and you put that mug at the highest elevation, you'll get out of breath, and you'll get out of breath quick. And you'll start building those leg muscles to climb mountains quicker. Easy things. There are easy things you can do to just create a better lifestyle. And it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun, and it's not hard. That's what I tell people. Everybody, there's so much information out there. I think sometimes, Dylan, that people get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
How do I start? There's so much information. They're drowning in it. Do anything that you enjoy doing and do it consistently. That is the best thing you can do for yourself. You love to go climb on the dam. I like to get on the mountain and go up, or get on the treadmill, or get on the, on the stair climber. Like, do those things that I'll enjoy this. That doesn't mean they'll be fun, but at least you can get yourself to doing them.
And we're talking all this functional exercise. There are so many things that's just a whole lot of fun. Like I keep mentioning jumping on the trampoline with my kids. That's a crazy good workout, and it is
your
fun.
heart will jump up.
Playing basketball, like just going out with your boy or your girl and shooting hoops for a while, and just playing ball and throwing a baseball. Just getting out and moving your body.
Get in the water with your granddaughters and go swimming. You want to get your out of breath. You get in and play in the water with them for an hour. You're worn out. You've done
absolutely. Guys, it doesn't have to be difficult. And again, Neither of us are here to tell you that you have to start doing all these crazy programs and following a crazy strict diet. But what we are here to tell you is that it will create a better life for you. It will create more better hunting opportunities for you, and you will enjoy it. So, guys, get out there and try it.
Guys, I oftentimes say that I always have a binocular harness on my chest. What good is a binocular harness without a good set of binoculars? I am a sucker for fine Japanese glass. I love good optics. I love spending time behind it. It's just fun. It's fun to go out and look at stuff, but also good optics make spotting and looking through them a whole lot more enjoyable. Kowa Optics does it and does it better than anyone else, in my opinion. They have some of the finest Japanese glass on planet Earth. It's all I've used for the past, 8 years or so. This right here, the Kowa 55, is one of the best products ever made in the history of the universe. It is the smallest, most compact scope you can get, but it still offers phenomenal glass. It's really hard to find a spotter that is this small, this light, this compact. You can throw it in your backpack. You can leave it in your truck. It's so small and so compact, but it still offers phenomenal glass. This is one of my favorite products ever. Guys, if you're in the market for new optics, I would highly encourage you to check out Kowa Optics because they are, in my opinion, the best glass that you can buy. Go check them out.
Donnie, where can they find more about Redy? And where can they find you? How can they get in touch with you? How can they shop your supplements? Tell them all about it.
Our website is liveredy.com. Again, that's liveredy.com. We expose everything about our supplements. We don't use proprietary blending. We talk about all of our ingredients and expose it all on our site. We also do full-line CBD on our site, along with our supplements. They're a huge part of impactful on my life, for my sleep, for my recovery, for inflammation, and things of that nature. I'd love to talk to you about that at some time at length. It's a huge thing. But we're on social media, Redy Nutrients, across all the spectrums, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter. We're on all of it. So, but yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to hear people, what they want to do and what their goals are. That's what I'd love to hear from your people is, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. And if I can help them get there, I'm more than willing to help.
And guys, I will also say this. I've used a lot of supplements, and Donnie's are very affordable compared to a lot of them. If you look at, we've talked about his BCAA and electrolyte blend. If you look at that one, what's that cost? $29?
Yeah.
And
most in the market comparably are $49.
And I mean to tell you guys, it will make you feel better. I was at the zoo the other day and I started getting dehydrated and I popped a scoop and I just started feeling better. I mean, I started the energy levels, the hydration levels, it just, you feel so much better. So guys, I would highly encourage you to check them out.
Thanks, Dylan. It's been great to talk with you, man.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Sorry for the delay and the mess up and having to finish in my garage and now you hear cars driving by, but I wanted to get this episode out, and again, I don't know how much longer I'll be without power, so we had to finish it and had to get it out. So I hope you forgive me, and I hope you enjoy the episode nonetheless. But guys, start implementing some of these tips and start living a happier, healthy life because you'll never regret it. You'll never regret being more active, being more fit. You'll never regret those healthy choices you make. Guys, thanks for listening. Y'all have a great week.
Have a good week, guys.